Hello, my name is Jessica Sisti, and this is my infographic for MUED 618 with Dr. Reese. Moving right along in my infographic here, I put a warning label before the tools that are listed because context is imperative when discussing anything within and outside the urban classroom. So highlighting some things that are within most urban education environments can better give you context of what you're going to apply these tools in. With this infographic, audiences are to be immersed in the atmosphere of an urban education environment before reading the tools and how to use them. The tools are then presented in a random order so that one tool will not seem more important than the other. These tools are to also be seen as equal to create equity in the classroom. So continuing into the first panel here, I combined the shared thoughts from the articles highlighting the importance of building relationships with the students. For tool one, understanding that your students may have more responsibilities than you did at their age, which is highlighted by Mark Gignetti in their article, is essential in providing scaffolding for urban education lessons. For tool two, which connects significantly with tool 8 later on, the importance of communication is directly correlated to the success of the students within the music program, which is highlighted by Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, though, goes on to describe that even though administration can be both the bringer of support and of obstacles, with student voices included, if we are a part of the scheduling committees, when they talk about moving a music class or doing something different with your program, you can be there to say no or make suggestions. However, being a part of the scheduling process is just one step in creating an established relationship with one's faculty and administrators, hence why I separated that tool 8 down there, talking about establishing communication with your administrators and being a part of scheduling process for tool 2. The next panel goes on to share tools discussing classroom strategies specifically. So Cruz identified how even though the educator he was interviewing, Mr. Bird, had made a hip-hop backing track for his students, he immediately adapted to increase their involvement in the activity. Flexibility is crucial in the urban education classroom. Moving on to tool 4, context was a topic that was the most shared aspect discussed throughout all of the authors in this. Context when introducing music of diverse cultures is extremely imperative for respect and learning purposes, which is highlighted by Emden. This is the most imperative tool, for it affects every other tool in this infographic. Context can be adapted and used in every lesson plan to assure equity. I then separated tool 5, which talks about mixed pedagogies, such as hip-hopography, critical pedagogy, cultural responsive teaching, and tool 7, which mentions cross-cultural competence, in order to emphasize context in different ways. It is emphasized specifically by Cruz in 2020 that understanding and doing research about the experiences of culture that the students are existing under is imperative, but it's also important to remember that those of the culture are best educators for that culture. This represents, again, the magnitude of context. Tool 6 and tool 9 down here discuss classroom conversation tactics. So back up to tool 6, Emden in 2016 summarized that it's best by saying the non-cosmopolitan classroom results in alienating the non-Indigenous. For tool 9, Hamilton expresses the importance of a brave classroom versus a safe classroom, and that to promote a classroom of anti-racist values, students should feel able to be brave enough to discuss complicated topics, brave enough to fail, and feel valued enough to try new things. So evolving the classroom from safe to brave is a vital change because using the term safe classroom has become a scapegoat for white privileged districts to use to promote inclusive learning environments when they might not be. Tool 9, but also Tool 6, share the importance of implementation of social justice within the classroom. Students should feel that their voices are heard and that they matter. To feel safe enough to express their thoughts and emotions through music or any art medium. To make connections with these students is one of the main goals for most urban educators, described by Cruz in 2020. So I just want to highlight here the last quote that I put at the end of the infographic from Fruchter. It basically encompasses the idea that we can change our lesson plans and change our schooling instead of changing the cultures of our students to make their learning environments a safer and braver environment. So I hope you enjoyed this infographic. Again, I'm Jessica Sisti. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And thank you for stopping by.